and I noticed that they made a whole kind of highway for bicycles and pedestrians. I have in my hand a stone that they threw, which came in through here, which was open, it got dented, the lights went out. More wood. We are at the General Miter train station in Córdoba capital. I spent the whole morning practicing the accent, and today we're going to take the Sierras train. Córdoba capital?
But you know that everything I say is short. All from Córdoba capital, Córdoba capital. But it comes out with a different accent.
I don't get it. I didn't do it right.
We aren't aware of our accent, my brother. We can't tell if you do it well since we don't know ourselves.
Of course, of course.
If someone from Buenos Aires or elsewhere hears us talk and then hears you, they might ask, did it sound the same?
Look how beautiful this station is, and unfortunately it's been neglected for many years. The train service to Córdoba was gradually dismantled, and even today the passenger train from Buenos Aires to here is no longer running. It's been almost a month since I'm recording this video. The service from Buenos Aires to Córdoba has been suspended, not cancelled, which gives us hope that it might come back. They supposedly say that NCA, which is the company that has the concession for the tracks, is doing some maintenance or something like that, and that supposedly it will come back. Let's hope that's the case. Look, here in this wing of the station, an event space was created that even has a co-working area and even a law office. And not only that, but as you can see, there's also an evangelical church operating here. The average transformation of train stations in the Argentine Republic. And nowadays, at this station, only the Sierras train operates, which is the one we're going to take now. We recorded it a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, in 2021. In fact, you can see in the footage that I'm with Barujo. Pandemic times, we're going to make a new updated recording, and the route is even longer. Last time it only went to Cosquín. Now it reaches Capilla del Monte. I just went for a walk all around the station where you can see all the abandoned cars, all that terrible destruction of the railway. And I noticed they built a kind of highway for bicycles and pedestrians. They call it an elevated bike path, which is pretty nice, interesting. Watch your step though. The thing is, the entry and exit points are kind of a mess. They're not well organized, they don't tell you where to go up or down, they're uncomfortable, and they leave you in a bad spot. But I think the idea is good. Is this the future of urban mobility? I don't know. I can imagine people soon traveling on these kinds of highways, but with scooters, motorcycles, or electric bikes. Maybe just look at the Saturday stations.
Rejas son de bronce.
Refrigerate for.
De finales del siglo XIX en la Argentina. Y qué bueno.
He already lost. Work is being done on...
Como podemos ver está bastante...
His behavior. Little coward.
Conserva. Hola, ¿qué tal?
How are you? Morning. 1 Sierra's train ticket to Capilla, please. And for Capilla, I get off and it's the same train. It doesn't matter. They'll wait for me. Ah, all right. As you saw, I just bought the ticket here. I thought you could only pay in cash, but I was able to pay with a card, so I took advantage of it and paid with Cocos's card. Now, one thing is that they didn't sell me the ticket all the way to Capilla del Monte, only to Cosquín, and when we get there, I have to buy the next segment. As we can see, here we have the fare chart, where we can see that from Córdoba to Capilla del Monte, it costs 4,600 pesos. In this case, I paid 2,300 to buy it for Cosquín, and I'll pay another 2,300 there. To Capilla del Monte, taking a bus from Córdoba to Capilla del Monte costs about 16,000 pesos. The train here is about 4 times cheaper, and we also have the schedule table. 3 trains depart daily from General Station at 7 ante meridium, 10 ante meridium, and 1 post meridium. Mitre, don't go to Alta Córdoba, where it used to depart. Go to Mitre instead. We're leaving at 1 p.m., so don't ask Topo to get up early. And we're supposed to arrive at Capilla del Monte at 5 o'clock post meridium at 5:59. We're going to take about 5 hours. We can see that there are already a lot of people waiting to board the train, and I even see schools with children coming. When recording, all the kids get excited and shout, "Hey, a YouTuber!" This little sign is so interesting. Those who don't want the railroad don't travel by train. Brotherhood Union of Córdoba. And it's true, those who don't want the railroad don't travel by train. It's something very particular that those who criticize it generally don't use this means of transportation, nor do they have financial problems when it comes to getting around. So they're not defenders of the railroad like I am and like you, the followers of this channel, are. We're about to enter the platform to catch the train. We're not going to this one here. That's where you catch the train to Buenos Aires. Instead, we must go through this tunnel. Look, this station is beautiful. It reminds me of the ones I've seen in Russia. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. The historical heritage we have in the Argentine Republic is fascinating. Unfortunately, many of them are poorly maintained, but we have nothing to envy from European countries. And here is the vehicle that will take us to Capilla del Monte, or at least to Cosquín, because from there we'll have to change. Supposedly, it's a Lerce diesel-powered railcar. The engine is right here in the middle, so you can't move from one end of the railcar to the other. And check this out, the Ferro Bobis fact. These tracks, which are for the train that goes to Buenos Aires, you can see the rolling stock for the train to Buenos Aires, right there. Waiting for the service to resume? Let's hope it's soon. And the track gauge of the Mitre line is 1,676 millimeters. However, the train we're about to take now belongs to the Belgrano line, which is meter gauge, so the Buenos Aires train can't run on this track. That's why we moved to this platform. This station is one that uses both track gauges. The train to Buenos Aires has marks from rocks thrown at it. It's pathetic. Many places along its route have people throwing stones. Everything's fine, this one is great, and we're just getting in the car to Lerce. The access was comfortable with a ramp. So in that sense, it's inclusive for people in wheelchairs, and there's a space where you can put the wheelchair. Since the units are driven from both sides, there's a cabin in the front and another one here, which also has an operator. This car is similar to the one we traveled in on the Salta regional train. It's the same model. Something interesting that a train staff member was telling me is that during the season, the units get pretty full, but at that time they restrict what you can bring as luggage. Only carry-on luggage is allowed, not large suitcases. Why? Because the train has a weight sensor, and if the allowed weight is exceeded, it simply won't work. And you can't bring bicycles either. It's 1:35, 35 minutes after the scheduled time. We're leaving for Capilla del Monte. We've got a 5-hour trip ahead, but they say they might make up the time along the way. We'll see what happens. That's what I'm saying here. This small map has 23 stops. An interesting fact is that even though the train from Buenos Aires reached Córdoba in 1870, the Sierra train started operating in 1892. And unlike the vast majority of Argentina's railway networks, which aim to obtain the trio from our carts, fields and deposited at the port of Buenos Aires to be shipped to Europe. In this particular case, the development of this train was for tourism purposes, just like the one they made to Mar del Plata a few years earlier, in 1886. And this service operated until 1977. That's when the Argentine dictatorship suspended it. But unlike what happened with the entire railway system in our country, which was dismantled on March 10, 1993 by the government of the unmentionable Capicua, in this particular case, the Sierra train was reactivated but operated by a private company, the Alcázar Company, who were the owners of the zoo and the racetrack in Córdoba. Trains, turbines, and the service operated that way until 2001 Messier crisis. I still think they shut it down because they had some legal troubles, but in 2007 already, with funding from the national government, it was reactivated in that case. Up to Cosquín, which is how we took it in 2021 when we made this trip. Then they extended it that same year a few months after I traveled to Valle Hermoso. And since 2023 it runs up to Capilla del, but originally it went all the way to Cruz del Eje, just so you have an idea. It's about 140 kilometers from Córdoba to Cruz del Eje. And what we're going to do today from Córdoba to Capilla del Monte is about 100 kilometers. I didn't manage to catch it with the camera just now, but I saw a little kid throwing stones, a boy who must have been under 10 years old. Unbelievable. Luckily, the windows are made of acrylic. Well, unfortunately, they have to be acrylic so that the rocks don't damage them. But how can they throw stones at the train? It's unbelievable. We're at the first stop, neonatal hospital. Here, as you can see, it's a quiet stop that's outside the center of Córdoba city. It took us 25 minutes to get here. We must have gone about 50 blocks. Said Publa. From here, we're at La Calera station, and you can already see the mountains up close. And this is the first of the stations that has a bathroom. One particular thing is that this train doesn't have a bathroom on board, so you have them at different stations. I visited the one in Córdoba capital. It's in good shape and well maintained, but there's no toilet paper, probably due to budget. Still, it's clean. The toilet has a seat, which is important, and I'll try out the bathroom at the station. I can't film it because people, including kids, are inside, so I won't show it. But it looks pretty clean too. And something I recommend as a little tip is don't drink mate or anything on the train because later you'll feel like peeing. Here I filmed a little part of the bathroom. It's pretty well maintained, huh? I said pee? Well, urinate. Here we are with Professor Madre Teresa.
Mother of Calcutta from Córdoba's Cerveceros neighborhood.
There he is. He lived in Mar del Plata, just a block from my house. That's right, we were neighbors. A lot of people board at this station, huh? A lady even boards to sell Machena alfajores.
A little pack of Maitena alfajores, a good amount of dulce de leche, 4 for 1,000.
Many will ask, Topo, is there Wi-Fi on the train? No, there isn't. In fact, at this point where we're going now, there's not even cell phone signal, nothing. We're disconnected. And speaking of being disconnected, there aren't any outlets to charge your devices either. So Topo tip, come with your devices fully charged and don't drink mate on the train because it's a trap since there's no bathroom on board. 2 things to know when taking the train. The Sierra route is full of cargo trains. We're currently between La Calera and Casabamba stations. Maybe you don't remember because you're too young, but that sign over there reminds us of the pandemic days with social distancing. There's no piata. We've arrived at Casabamba. I could say it's my favorite station. On this trip, they have a small buffet, which is a little table set up here at the station to sell food, drinks, everything. And it also has a bathroom, but the thing is you have to run down to get to the bathroom and make it there. I'm not a poodle, but here I am. Hi, what's the puppy's name? Puppy Choco Choco. Hi Choco, I just bought a Maicena alfajor and a Coke, which I put in my fanny pack. I took the don't drink liquids advice too seriously and now I'm dying of thirst, so I'd rather pee myself than get dehydrated. On the way we made a friend. Maxi, how are you?
How are you this afternoon?
Maxi, a Tai Chi Chuan instructor who travels around the country teaching the ancient martial art.
Ancient. Yes, we aim to capture that timeless quality today.
You also have a YouTube channel featuring audiobooks and podcasts.
Yes, about martial arts and other philosophical topics. What's it called? Caminantes Camino Verbum.
Caminantes Camino Verbum. Go follow him there. We'll put it here down below and also in the video description so you can follow him here.
All right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Traveling with pleasure on one of the most beautiful trains in the Argentine Republic.
Absolutely, yes.
We are already boarding. Notice that the station has a water tank which was used to supply the steam locomotives. A Maicena alfajor and a cold Coca-Cola each cost 2,000 pesos. This is how we break intermittent fasting. Honestly, I need a kick in the chest more than the Coke to get it down. Something I noticed that I criticized the last time I took the Sierra train, which was 4 years ago, it's that there are no bins to throw away trash, and there still aren't any. So the Coke can, well, can you tell me where I can keep it? We just went through one of the tunnels on this route. There are 2 in total. The good thing about this train is it has lights, so you aren't in the dark in the tunnel. Still, the little kids were surprised. Wow, we went underground, entered the second tunnel at 200 meters, but you can't even tell we're underground. Dude, it got wild, the lights went out. Oh man. Thanks for watching. Woo, Af and Lalo. We just passed by the famous, and why not, the highly praised Vic San Roque. Dude, this bridge is amazing. And a fun fact is that several rivers actually flow into Lake San Roque. And it's through that reservoir that all the water consumed by the city of Córdoba is supplied. And you can see Tanti on one side, but way in the background, that's none other than Carlos Paz. Something that changed compared to the trip I took in 2021. On this same train, the flagmen who were in charge of blocking the level crossings used to travel on board. The train used to stop so they could get off, block traffic, let the train pass, and then reboard. Now they ride in a support truck to watch and accompany the train. And there they stop at each of the level crossings, and there they block the traffic. The train passes and they continue on their route. San Roque Station. Here we'll have to wait about 20 minutes because the train coming from Cosquín has to pass. And right here there are double tracks, so we have to wait for it to go by and then we can continue. Hello little buddy. It makes me mad to see that poor little horse tied up there. I thought we had to wait for the other train to pass. We don't switch trains because this one has to go back to Córdoba city. So the one that's coming from Capilla del Monte, will catch it here and continue. Let's make the most of these minutes here. Let's walk around San Roque a bit, and there's something very interesting I'm going to show you. There we can see Lake San Roque. It says, I love San Roque. And next to it we have a gray monument, or actually the base of a gray monument. And that spot over there is the geographical center of the Argentine Republic. Hello, can you guess where I'm calling from? Obviously, it doesn't work. And for the Centennials, this is a payphone. We have some friends here, also backpackers. Where are you from?
Buenos Aires, San Miguel West Side, name Adrian.
Adrian, Lucas, are you enjoying the train while traveling?
We're using the train here, traveling with my friend.
And where are you going now?
To La Falda.
I mean, you have to get off at Cosquín, of course.
We transfer there in Cosquín, and from there we head to La Falda to work for a while.
They work there?
We make crafts, all kinds of crafts, like bracelets.
I tell them I'd rather be stranded here in San Roque than in Gaudibamba in Cameroon. Thank you, thank you. Here comes the train. All the passengers from Capilla del Monte got off and are boarding the other train we came on. They're heading to Córdoba, and we continue on this one to Capilla del Monte. Why does the train change? I don't know. I mean, why didn't we just continue on the same one? I have no idea. I don't know. I really don't understand. If any of you know, please explain it to me in the comments. Hello, Ferroviario, hello? Something important to point out is that the train car has air conditioning, and in the winter it has heating. We'd have to try it someday when it's 45 degrees to see how it works, right? Today it's about 20-something degrees according to what I checked. According to the schedule, we're an hour and a half behind, no big deal.
Don't know what happens in this town. Don't know what happens, I can't understand. About a day first this Friday, because I can't find something to.
We just arrived at Viale Masse station and Marcelo got off here. A person who was talking with me on the train told me that his grandfather took part in the construction of the San Roque Dam.
Tell me please, I wanna find out.
Santa Maria Station. We just arrived at Santa Maria Station. Here, which is the one before Cosquín Station, is where Cosquín Rock is held and where an epic event in the history of our national rock took place. When Papo and Charlie Garcia, together with Botafogo, played the song Desconfío. It's 5:30 p.m. and we've arrived at Cosquín station. We don't have to transfer here because we already did that before, so we continue on this same train and we're 2 hours behind schedule. All the school kids got off here and the train is empty now, so we're going to move to the front part. That way we can enjoy the view. I also noticed the screen is showing a system error. It crashed. Here's a fun fact I didn't mention. I counted the number of seats and there are 60. But here, this little sign says that the maximum capacity is 120 people this number for each part of this pair. So 60 people can go seated and 60 more people standing. Multiplied by 2, we can transport up to 240, which is a number that usually happens during the summer season when it's completely full. This train is nice, Mati, yes.
We're ready with the cloth under the glove. Thank you very much.
Now we're good. Leaving from Cosquín, we were only at the station for a few minutes and I've never done this part of the journey before, ever. We just crossed the Cosquín River and I remember that when I was here, I sound like Grandpa Simpson telling these stories, but I remember when I was here. In 2021, I walked along the riverbank, saw the train tracks and thought, wow, when the train can continue its journey and cross this river, it's going to be spectacular. And we just did it. If you don't buy downstairs, it's usually up here.
The train's arrival depends on the presence of a ticket office at the station.
Thank you so much. When we stop at San Roque station to change trains, we also get a new conductor. Here we have the young man who, when we arrived at Cosquín, sold us the continuation of this ticket to Capilla del Monte. The remaining 2,300 to complete the fare, and it's cash, there's no other way here. In Córdoba city, we paid the first part by card. Here, it's only cash. I just went up to the control cabin and I saw that the speedometer showed we were going at 32 kilometers per hour. I wanted to record it with the camera, but I think the zoom isn't enough. But that's the actual speed we're going at right now. And it's pretty similar to the one we did Molinari station, and it's pretty similar to the pace we were going the whole way. Molinari stop isn't even on the map. Only one person got off. Something to point out, and obviously that's why we're going at this speed, is that the condition of the tracks is deplorable. You look at them and think, man, they're totally wrecked. It's years and years of no investment, no maintenance of the tracks, and that's why we're going at this speed. I don't know if we've had the same tracks since 1892, and they've never been touched for any improvements. Now let's keep in mind that we're going uphill, and that also slows us down. Still, in any case, it doesn't justify the time it takes us. Let's go. Big house, I love the design of this station. We're alone on the train now. I'm ready to take a little nap here and get to Capilla del Monte, but this is where you see the most beautiful landscapes of all, so you have to enjoy them. It's a shame about the windows, you can't see properly. They told me these little black dots are so that if someone throws a rock, the glass won't shatter, it'll just chip. Some say it's due to the heat. There are a few theories. Why do you think it is? La Falda Station, a place I have to visit at some point because the legendary Eden Hotel is there. I got everything ready.
Huh? I said, what did I sign? You sign everything and handle the blockades.
You got stuck frozen. What happened?
What did he do? Spell. Everywhere, you know. Often?
You went too far.
Yes, sir. I follow you in the countries you've been to. How did you show up?
How did I die? I was in Cameroon, not here in La Falda.
It's complete misery.
Please, you are from La Falda?
You're not from Santa Fe?
From Recreo? You're here on a trip?
We're on a trip.
He got on. A bunch of people here in La Falda. There's a bunch of people, a group of people here, and among them we have a real fan here. Francisco and Susana from the Truck Drivers Union got a free week in Capilla del Monte. They came to spend the day in La Falda and will return by train.
A gentleman.
La La Cumbre station was inaugurated in 1892, as I mentioned, but this current station dates from 1935. That's why. A more modern style compared to the traditional constructions from the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and we're at 1,141.83 meters above sea level, man. These towns are amazing. It makes you want to ride this train, get off at one station one day, then another the next, like the Trans-Siberian, but here it's the Sierra train. I'm holding a stone that someone threw. It came in through here, just like it's open back here, and went right through. Look, it was open right here and this huge stone came in. If it hits you, it kills you. They're potential criminals. Bye, see you. It was a pleasure, ma'am. Bye. Have a good time, my friend.
But you too, we made it to Capilla. It's going on YouTube. You're going to watch it, right? I'm not following since someone else is. You too? We're in Capilla del Monte as well. Thank you all so much.
And just as our conductor announced, at 7:30 in the evening, we've arrived in Capilla del Monte an hour and a half late. It's okay, we can't complain. Look at this landscape. Behind those hills is Mount Uritorco. There are people practicing martial arts over there. Look here, that's it. Technically, the train can't go any further. The track continues to Cruz del Eje, but there's a fence. And here, the train has already left us and is about to. From here, it returns to Cosquín, but doesn't reach Córdoba city. The railway was so neglected here in Capilla del Monte that the tourism office now operates in the station. In fact, there are municipal offices, the misdemeanor court, and the subsecretariat of environment. Just about 200 meters from the train station is the most iconic place in Capilla del Monte. It's covered street. There aren't just covered streets in Las Vegas or Beijing, but also in Capilla del Monte, Córdoba, as it says there. Capilla del Monte, Uritorco town. Right here is that famous hill where many people say they've seen extraterrestrials. So who knows, maybe I'll turn into a flying saucer. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I say goodbye, hoping that the passenger train to Córdoba will return soon and that trains will reconnect all of Argentina again. That's my greatest wish. Thanks for being there. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.